Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rob Chappell and
Stephanie Diaz de Leon.
And we are the co-hosts of the It's Only 10 Minutes podcast.
Are we co-hosts?
I think I'm the co-host.
Oh,
you're the host.
Oh, I was going to say I was the co-host. Like I was just a sidekick.
I think you're the host. I'm the co-pilot.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Plane.
On this plane.
So we're giving you a little behind the scenes on how we tape the It's Only 10 Minutes podcast. Sometimes we do it at night like this. Sometimes we do it and get up early in the morning and do it. We're releasing each episode, each edition at 7 a.m.
In either case, we're drinking tea because I need to be soothed in any sort of way. Whenever we're doing this.
Keep our vocal cords.
Oh, I just
nimble.
I just don't want to hear my voice. And so I feel like if I drink tea, it'll make it sound better.
Okay. But the reason we're doing this as a little special treat for the Facebook and the YouTube and the Periscope viewers is that we are a nonprofit newsroom, right? We're a nonprofit 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we survive on donations from the community. And right now, from now until the end of the year, there's this news match program, right? That to the Institute for Nonprofit News basically doubles any donation you give us. And
doubles.
Yes, doubles.
Doubles.
And it's really simple too. It's like we send them a spreadsheet of how many donations we got, and they write us a check for that amount. Yeah. Like no questions asked, no strings attached. It's really nice. But tomorrow, and when the edition of the podcast that we're taping tonight gets posted tomorrow morning, it's going to be Giving News Day. Remember, it's Giving Tuesday. And they made a pun on it, Giving News.
How much did you love the fact that they made a pun?
News people love puns.
Oh.
So Giving News Day is sort of just an extra push.
Dads love puns.
Yep. I'm all those things. So it's a little extra push to nonprofit newsrooms across the country. There's like 300 newsrooms across the country that are participating in this news match program that the Knight Foundation, Facebook Journalism Project, Democracy Fund are all putting in this big pot of money to split up among these newsrooms to match our donations from our communities, from you. So it's kind of just an incentive to show you what we do, and that what your money goes to is not lavish studio space.
It is our attic, which Rob quietly one day said, "Hey, can we change this into something?
Can I put some acoustic panels on the side?
Can I do this? Can I get a panel to help with sound? Can I get mics? Can I take this table?" It was an interesting day. Yeah. And then I said, like, as long as I get big headphones.
And so we got the big headphones. And now we feel fancy.
I feel fancy.
So what we're going to do is we've got this going on this computer. I'm going to start recording on this laptop over here that you can't see. And we're just going to do an episode or an edition of the It's Only 10 Minutes podcast. It'll take a little more than 10 minutes to tape.
It always takes a little bit more than 10 minutes.
You always get a few extra bonus minutes.
So let's not pretend.
So if you're watching this right now, you're going to get a sneak preview of tomorrow's podcast. So are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right, go on.
Hope you guys are ready. From Madison 365, this is Stephanie Diaz de Leon.
And this is Rob Chappell.
And it's only 10 minutes. It is Tuesday, December 1st.
December the 1st.
Yes.
Wow.
Yesterday was November the 30th. So
December kind of snuck up on us.
No, it didn't.
We've known
December is coming. No, not at all. Not at all. So we'll go ahead and move right into the first story that, one that we have been following and that we want to give an update to, right, Rob?
Yeah, this is a story we first reported Sunday night, and it was more widely reported during the day on Monday. But for the first time, somebody in Wisconsin under the age of 20 has passed away from COVID, and his name is Issei Morocho. He's a junior. He was a junior at Madison East High School. And the principal at Madison East sent out an email Sunday afternoon to the school community announcing that this had happened and offering support for the school community. And since we first reported that, it was just some very basic details. I have been in touch with some of the family members, and understandably, Issei's parents have not wanted to give any more interviews. They just don't feel like they need to tell the story again and again. Which is, I totally
completely understandable. And so on Friday, so the father had actually given an interview to Me Wisconsin, right?
Yep.
And had shared a lot. And if you haven't seen it, it is an emotional interview.
Yeah.
And kudos to the hosts for being so empathetic and understanding and patient and just the grace that the family and the father had to share the story, so that to make sure people are aware of how this could impact your own family, how this impacted their family, and even sharing the steps of how it happened, what happened to his son, is something to warn the community, to give some advice and to give some sense of what they had gone through and such is a grace that I'm not sure everybody that we needed or deserved.
Exactly.
But it was something for the community.
Exactly. And the school district, and since we talked about this yesterday, I did hear back from the school district as well, and the school district said that this family was very intentional about saying, please tell the rest of this community that this was COVID. Yeah. So they know to take it seriously. So they can learn from our pain.
And learn, how this impacts. Because the idea is that it happens to only certain people, where it comes to the fact that you get either hospitalized or, suffer long-term effects of this, or or even pass away from this, is that you are of a certain age. Yes. And you're in a certain age group. Yep. And that's not what happened here. He was strong and he was healthy. And that was something that the father repeated throughout in this conversation.
And he didn't have any respiratory symptoms at first.
Yeah, he didn't have any heart conditions and such. Yeah. So one thing to mention is that we knew about the interview on Sunday night. I got up early. I got up because I couldn't sleep, and I went and listened to the interview. And I had a sense of what they were saying.
I would say the interview's in Spanish.
Yep. Oh, yeah. It's in Spanish. So I had a sense of what they were saying. And the next morning, Rob and I talked about it a little bit. And my concern was my Spanish isn't as good as it should be. Your Spanish is
less than that.
Yeah. I think you should. We talked about getting somebody to interpret it, because I did not want to be wrong. You can't base this on my understanding of what was said here. We need to back this up. So we were able to get someone to translate it for us and do so quickly. So I appreciate that. And the things that we heard and we learned are impactful, right? So what did you
chilling? He didn't have the normal symptoms, the respiratory, the shortness of breath, the loss of sense. It was more like stomach flu.
Yeah, he had
vomiting and stuff like that.
And diarrhea, and that, that's what all he was having and such. So they
actually took him to the doctor, got a COVID test, and it was negative.
Yep.
So they sent him home. They went back to the doctor again because he wasn't getting better. They didn't want to give him another test, but they sent him home again
because he didn't have any other symptoms. It was still the same.
He wasn't having those COVID symptoms.
It was the same symptoms of. Well, and the thing is, those are symptoms. Right. They're just not the only ones. So people are looking for respiratory issues, fever, etc., and stuff like that too. And that's not what was happening here, right?
Right. But then he ended up just collapsing at home.
Yeah.
And they called 911, and he passed away very shortly thereafter.
Yeah, they were trying to administer. The father was trying to administer CPR until the ambulance came and such, and unfortunately he passed away.
Yeah, but it was confirmed afterwards.
Yep, with the toxicology report. Yep,
that he was COVID positive.
Yeah.
So we know that, and it's heartbreaking, and and they're still. Through their tragedy, they're still trying to educate everybody else to say that this is a real thing and it's a real serious thing.
Yeah.
And you have to take it seriously, and don't take no for an answer if you think you have it. That was one of the things that Dad was saying repeatedly in here. Don't take no for an answer. Get your test. Get tested again. Get tested again.
Yeah, that was a huge thing that he was saying. It's just go get tested again.
Yep.
You never know, because you don't know when that test might turn positive. It can be anywhere from 2 to 14 days, unfortunately.
Right. And this happened so quickly. This happened in a couple of days. Yeah. Over Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It was like Wednesday to Friday. It was that quickly.
Yeah. So. And that's unfortunate. And again, the story does include the family's GoFundMe link as well, which I would encourage people to also give to that, for the families for funeral expenses and et cetera, with regards to that. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next story that will be on our website at madison365.org.
Yeah, this one's much happier.
Yeah, and this is
adorable.
Well, and it's also a way for people to engage in somebody else's lived experience.
Exactly right.
Which is important, which people say they want to do. And again, it's an incredible story. So why don't you go ahead and give us a sense of this one?
Yep. This is a Dave Dahmer special. These are the stories he's so good at. Demi Wright is a 9-year-old girl who was diagnosed with unilateral hearing loss. And she just basically, for reasons that aren't entirely clear, lost her hearing. She was having persistent ear infections, would not subside, causing a great deal of pain. So she went to an ENT, an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and was diagnosed with this hearing loss, and has decided to take this experience and help other people understand her experience.
Yep.
And she's actually just 10 days ago, she put out a book called "Can You Hear Me Now?" which is great.
Which is amazing. So yeah.
And she's just trying to kind of share this experience to help other people learn about it and understand it, and help other kids who go through the same thing.
Yeah.
To know that they're not alone and that they can make it through.
Yeah. And there's just, discussion of, with the mother, Demi Wright, as well, who is a principal at Cottage Grove, and such. But, again, this is an opportunity to kind of understand and see through, as much as this person is sharing with you, their very lived experience, and to be written by a 9-year-old, that again, it's like, that is some grace there. That is moving, and it's something that I'm planning to get for our children. And I would encourage all of you to read this great story, because again, it is a Dave Dahmer special, as we like to say, because he does such a great job, and the writer Demi, is incredible to really share this, and to again, to think of other people, is something,
the generosity to go through this and think, I can use this to help other people. That's really
and other kids.
For a kid,
Absolutely. And when we come back, we'll be talking about COVID. So we're gonna have some bonus minutes today. There was almost 9 minutes. See, this is what we talk too much. Or I talk too much, I guess. So what Rob is doing is we usually take a break and we put an ad in between here, and then kind of set aside the audio for our producer, Nate Chappell, who happens to be Rob's brother, to kind of edit that for us and make it pretty and sound better as best he can, despite, the sound of my voice.
As best he can.
As best he can.
Okay, so I've got that first half saved to the cloud server for Nate to grab later tonight, and we are ready to head into COVID. Are we going to just hit the weird state numbers, or count
so weird? I like you're asking, are we taking the weird state? They're not weird. It's after a holiday. They're not weird at all. This is what I said was going to happen.
So hit this and this and
I want to talk about hospitalizations too.
Oh, hospitalizations, let me get that up.
Because that's always important. But everything else we have.
Hospitalizations are going back up again.
Yeah, I know. Because again, we saw them in Dane County. As well. Look at your screen. I don't know.
It's not working.
Because it's mad at you. There it goes. Let's go ahead and go right into it.
Okay, right?
Yep. And we're back, and we're going to go ahead and head right into COVID, where we're going to discuss the state numbers right now, which for Monday was lower, right? But
this has been typical on Mondays, but even lower than the normal Monday, because it's a holiday weekend.
It's a holiday weekend, so we have to consider that and such. But we came back with 8,740 total tests reported, with 2,534 of those being positive, and then 6 deaths reported as well.
Right, which is also a reporting thing. We saw 6 also last Monday coming out of the weekend. Just it takes that long for a death to get reported through the system.
It takes a while for deaths to be reported, whether they're being investigated, whether they're coming from various smaller counties and such,
medical examiners' offices and stuff. So those take a while, and when there's a weekend and they're not getting reported that much, so we might. Last week we saw 6 on a Monday and 104 on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's what happens.
Fingers crossed for Tuesday. We don't see that big jump.
And again, it's a holiday weekend. I don't know. I just hope the numbers aren't as bad.
Yeah.
And here's the thing too. So we run numbers and we look at different things when we're running numbers, right? It's not that we're just looking at 7 days. I have numbers that go from 14 days. I have numbers that go to, 30 days, 4 weeks. And that's because we want to get a sense of where we are and how we're doing. We are going down in positive, even with testing, we are going down in numbers and active cases and such. And we saw also a trend of us going down in hospitalizations. However, we are noticing that it's slowly sort of creeping back up, right?
Yep, a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, the positive test rate is stayed steady. It went up yesterday and stayed steady today. Hospitalizations went up, as you said, down every day for 2 weeks. Now coming back up for a couple of days in a row. 1,845 people currently hospitalized. That's 21 more than Sunday. But
154 less than it was a week ago.
Right.
So again, we got to put things into context and give us a sense of how we're doing and such. It's important to look at all these numbers in context.
Right.
It's not just about the number of positive cases versus the number of negative cases. It's, positive cases, hospitalizations, deaths, 7-day averages and such to get a better sense of how things are going and how things are doing. Right. And so and another thing that we're seeing too is that a number of recovered cases increasing as active cases are decreasing. Right.
We're down to under 69,000 active cases right now.
Yep.
Which is 1,000 fewer than yesterday.
Yep.
We like to see that, and the percentage is going down too. Of all the cases we've ever had, right now 17.75% are active. That was 22% just a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So several of these numbers are trending in the right direction. We like to see that, but we'll see if they start to go back up again as hospitalizations start to go back up.
Well, and the other thing too is we won't really get a sense of the impact of Thanksgiving in that holiday.
Right.
We won't get that really until about anywhere from 5 days, after testing, after things are processed, anywhere from 5 days to about 14 days, really.
Yep.
And people making choices about whether or not they go get tested, if they feel like they may have been exposed to COVID and such. Again, if you were out and about spending time with people outside your home, and you suspect that you may have been exposed to COVID, they're asking you to not get tested until 3 to 5 days after exposure, just because it does take that long before it actually, actually shows up as a positive test.
There were people at the federal level today saying, if you did that, assume you were exposed and isolate yourself, stay indoors, stay away from people until you can get that test.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with regards to that.
Yep.
But we will be back later today with updates with regards to Dane County, as well as for the state later this afternoon. And then don't forget that Rob does his Facebook Live every afternoon about after 4 o'clock or around 4 o'clock, depending on what's going on with regards to the numbers and the house and the kids.
What else is happening?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you all so much for listening.
Have a great day. All right, we're out.
All right.
Okay, thank you for watching on the Facebook Live and YouTube and Periscope and so on. Subscribe to the It's Only 10 Minutes podcast. Go to Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just search for It's Only 10 Minutes. While you're there, search for Black Oxygen. Terrific episode of Black Oxygen dropped this morning.
I'm so glad that I listened to that this morning. I will say that I heard that, that interview from me in Wisconsin was still in my head this morning. And then I was like, oh, it's Monday. It's Black Oxygen Day.
Yeah.
So, getting a chance to listen to that was good for my soul because Sabrina Madison and Angela Russell, again, Angela, such a great host. So you should not only listen to Black Oxygen, you should subscribe to it, follow it on Facebook and follow it on Instagram and on Twitter because she gives, she lets you know on Sunday who to expect.
What's coming up.
Yep. So.
Very good. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Oh, we're done.
This is 365 Media.